the USCIS building here in Milwaukee. So we can see, let me get my pointer. You can see the front doors are right here. So if you're living in Milwaukee, you may have been to this building before. It's same like for in other cities like Indiana or also in New York. You've gone to your local USCIS building. Sometimes you have to go when you got your green card. I know when you came here as refugees and you applied as your green card, you had to go get your fingerprints taken. Also, for sometimes people have to go and get their fingerprints taken for when they apply for US citizenship. Now, a lot of times they just use your fingerprints from the past, but occasionally they will ask people to come back and take their fingerprints when you apply for citizenship. They'll send you a letter either saying that they have your fingerprints, or they'll send you a letter saying that you need to come for an appointment. And Demele, how long did your fingerprint appointment take you?
It's like 10.
About 10 minutes, yeah. So where you've gone for this green card and your fingerprints is the same place you're going for your US citizenship interview. You're gonna go to a different part of the building though. So when you go in, you have to go through security. And can someone tell me, what do you have to put on the security machine? What do you see here in this picture?
Key money.
I can't hear you. What do you see in this picture?
Your key, your money.
Good. Yep. So you got to put, you'll have to go through security. You've got to put your keys, your wallet. What about, do you have to put your phone on the security machine?
Yes.
Your phone. What else do you see on the security machine?
Bag.
Yep, your bag. So that's the very first thing you'll do. When you go into the building, you've got to go through security. And what are things you should not bring with you to your interview?
The knife, gun.
Don't bring any weapons. Leave the weapons at home.
The truck.
A what?
Truck.
Drugs, yeah, illegal drugs. That's very good. Yeah, anything that you have to say no to on the citizenship application, illegal drugs. What about if you have like a lighter? Sometimes people have lighters on them. You don't want to bring any sort of flame. Any of those things you want to leave at home, don't bring with you to your interview. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so the security officer will ask, why are you here today? And what will you say?
It is an interview.
Good.
Come.
Good. Say, I am
Come.
for my citizen
interview.
And then what do you have to show to the security officer?
Interview letter.
Yeah, you have to show an ID, like your green card.
Private license, green card, driving license.
What else might you have to show that you have an interview that day?
Interview document.
Yep, your appointment letter.
Appointment
letter. You're going to have to show that to the security officer. After you go through the security machine, they will ask for your ID and your appointment letter. You have to show that you are here for an interview that day. If you don't have an interview that day, they'll send you away. So they'll ask, why are you here? And you'll show your appointment letter, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, these are some of the documents you'll want to bring with you. So you've got, this is what your appointment letter looks like. Your green card, your driver's license. Now, you don't have to show, you have to show your appointment letter and your green card to the security officer. Driver's license, you don't always have to show to them. Really, the most important thing to show to the security officer is this appointment letter. That's what they want to check to make sure it says this date and time that you've come on the correct day for your appointment, okay? And you can see on the appointment letter, they list other things you'll need to bring with you. So like your green card, or if you're a man, ages 18 to 26, or you lived in the United States between 18 and 26, you need to bring a copy of your selective service registration. They don't always ask for it, but it's just good to have a copy with you. If you need any help getting a copy of it, if you don't have a copy, you can always call me and I can help you look up a copy, okay?
Okay.
And then if you have any other sort of passports, or maybe also your I-94, your travel document, when you came to the United States, that's something you can bring to your interview. Or if you're married to a United States citizen, like when I went with my husband, he had to bring our marriage certificate to prove we have been married. Good. Other things you can bring with you to your interview, you can bring your social security card. That's something I think can be helpful to have with you, your social security card. And then, like I said before, like your travel documents, your I-94. That's what you got when you came to the United States. It has your picture, and if you had any children with you, it should have their pictures too. Shows your arrival. You'll keep it, you just bring it with you to have as evidence. But definitely make sure you have your appointment letter, green card, state ID. When I was there with my husband, we were waiting for his interview. Someone forgot their green card. They were not allowed to take their US interview, their citizenship interview. They had to go back home and wait for their second interview. So make sure you have it. If you lose your green card, you'll want to talk to the officer about that when you go for your interview. And you'll have to explain why you do not have a green card. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay, let's keep going. Okay, then after you go through security, the officer is going to direct you to a check-in window. So you'll see some people sitting behind a glass window, like how this woman is sitting behind a glass window. And what does it mean to check in? What are you doing when you're checking in?
My bag.
Yeah, you can check your bag, but this is a little bit a different sort of check-in. Again, you're just...
Maybe Corona.
Yes. Can you say that again, Hina? I can't hear you.
Maybe I think so. Corona test.
Yeah. So this one you'll be showing your documents again.
Sure. The document.
You'll have to show again your green card and your appointment letter. You'll have to show that multiple times, and this is before you you even go for your interview.
No.
So you'll go for the check-in,
Mm.
and the woman will check your green card and your appointment letter. Okay?
Mhm. Yeah.
Also, at the check-in, they will take your, what's happening in this first picture?
Fingerprints.
Fingerprint
They'll take your fingerprints.
and photo.
Yep. And they'll
Picture.
take your photo.
Picture. Photo. Take the photo
Picture.
of you.
Okay.
So this is their way of verifying. So they just want to make sure you are who you are, that you didn't pay someone to come take your interview for you to pass. So they take your, so just like how they have your fingerprints, they take your fingerprint and photo
Photo.
at the check-in window. And that's their way to make sure that you are the person who is coming for the citizenship interview.
Yes.
So that's just one thing I want students to be aware of, that they'll ask you to take fingerprints of your thumb and your pointer finger, your first finger. They'll have you take those fingerprints. Good. And then after you've checked in,
Do you want to
and
done?
shown the check-in officer your IDs, your documents, they're going to have, the check-in officer will direct you to the waiting area where you can take a seat and you'll
Yeah.
wait for the officer to call your name. So this, everything we just talked about happens before your interview. So that's what you'll do to right leading up to your interview. Okay? Does anyone have any questions right now?
Teacher, I'm one question.
Yes, Hina.
My passport is expired. This is allow you my interview.
Yeah, that's okay if your passport's expired. It's more your green card is more the important one.
Okay, teacher.
Does anyone else have any questions? Nope. Okay. So I'm going to show you a quick video. Now this is sort of old, so they don't have, the video is a little bit old, so they don't have the part about the fingerprints and the taking the photo at check-in. Okay. This is what it'll kind of look like.
Spouse was previously married, bring evidence that your spouse's prior marriage was terminated. If you have been arrested or detained by the police at any time, bring original or certified copies of court dispositions. And if you're a man between 18 and 31 years old, you need to provide proof that you've registered with the Selective Service. When you arrive, you will be asked to enter through a security checkpoint. You must show your naturalization interview notice and identification to the security officer and inform the officer that you have a naturalization interview. The security officer or an immigration officer will tell you where to find the customer service waiting area. When you arrive at the customer service waiting area, you will need to present your naturalization interview notice to the immigration officer at the customer service desk. The officer will then ask you to wait until your name is called.
Mr. Marcos Torres?
Yes, that's me.
I'm Officer Taylor. I'll be conducting your interview today.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great. Follow me.
Okay, so we'll pause there. Now, the moment the officer calls your name, that is when your interview is starting. Many officers use that walk to the interview room as a way to test some of your speaking in English abilities. So right there, what did we hear? What did you hear the officer ask Marcus Torres? What did you hear the officer say?
How are you?
Good. The officer asked, "How are you?" And what did he say?
Fine, thank you.
Good.
I'm fine, thank you.
And also he asked, "How are you?"
I'm fine.
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
What about if the officer asked, "How is the weather today?" What would you say?
Maybe good.
Yeah, if the
Good.
weather is nice,
Good right now.
the weather is good.
The weather is
Yeah.
good.
What about for people living in Milwaukee? What is the weather today?
Very rainy.
Raining.
Weather. So if
The
it's
weather is
weather is
raining.
So hot.
yeah, if it's warm, you say the weather is hot.
Yeah. The water is hot.
Good. I always say if the officer is talking to you, it's nice to really use that time to have a short conversation with your interview officer. It's a way you can demonstrate to them how your ability to speak in English, because that is a part of the US citizenship interview, speaking in English. What about if the officer says, "How did you get here today?" What are some ways you could have gotten to the
My
interview?
husband dropped me.
Good, yeah. My husband drove me.
From me.
Friend dropped me.
Mm-hmm.
And write myself.
Yeah, I drove.
I
Friend myself.
dropped me.
Good. Yeah, you could say, or like maybe my family drove me.
From
Yeah.
me.
My
Kami Uber,
friends.
My son
Uber,
dropped me.
Lyft, kan?
Oh, good. Yeah, I took an Uber,
Uber, yeah, Lyft.
Uber, a Lyft. Yeah, my family, my son drove me, Uber, Lyft. Good. What about if the officer says, "Was it hard to get here?"
No.
Hard. If yeah,
No, yeah, no, it was easy.
easy.
What about, you could also say maybe, "Yes, there was a lot of traffic."
The hard work.
So hard to get here means, did you have an easy time finding the building? Good. What about if the officer asks, "Have you been waiting long?"
Not too much long. Maybe I waiting for me 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Good, not too long,
Not too long.
around 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Or maybe it could even be okay if you said,
Not too long.
you could say, "Yes, I've been waiting a long time." Or maybe like, "No, I've only been waiting about 5 minutes." So yeah, that's good. This question, how have you been waiting long, is a question about time. How long, how many minutes have you been sitting there waiting for the officer? These are all common questions we see officers ask at the beginning of an interview. And sometimes if you're a little bit nervous, I've seen students, the officer asks, "Oh, was it hard to get here?" And students are just sitting there in silence because they're very nervous and they don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So it's good to prepare for these questions to help you feel comfortable during your interview. Okay, let's
Yeah.
practice. I'm gonna take turns asking everybody questions. And we're gonna pretend like I'm the officer at the interview. Because I know no one drove to get here today because everybody's at home. Okay, Sheme, how are you today?
I'm fine. And you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Fine, thank you.
Okay, Coco 9, how did you get here today?
I drove myself.
Good. Joe Tan, was it hard to find parking?
Yes, a little.
Just a little. Okay, good. Mohammed Nur Kareem, have you been waiting long?
Not really.
Not really good. Okay, let's see. Mimi, how is the weather today?
Today is good weather.
It's good weather. Good. Let's see. July 2. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Oh, I love that answer. That's good. Daymele, how did you get here today?
What was the question again?
So if the officer asks you, how did you get here today? Like, how did you get to your interview?
My parent draw me.
Parents dropped you. Very good. Sante, was it hard to get here?
No, easy.
See, good.
Yeah.
Joe 9, have you been waiting long?
No long, just 20 minutes. Yeah.
Hina, how is the weather today?
Today weather is good.
Okay, let's see. Okay, great. I think I got everybody. Good. Okay, so we're going to stop there for a moment. And now we're going to just do